Howdy, I'm known as Dimwit, last mountain man, feared throughout the land. And today I'm packing a revolver. It's the Remington New Model Police. Okay, it's a conversion revolver, so it fires a 38 rimfire, and we're gonna try and shoot with it here in a minute. Now these things started their lives in 1865 as percussion revolvers, but most of them were actually made as cartridge conversion revolvers during the 1870s, and 18,000 of them or so were made. And this is a 6.5 inch barrel gun, and that's the longest barrel that you could have. And as you can see, this is a nickeled gun. It's been redone at some point, but it's never been in really bad shape, because it's still it's got real nice markings on it, and it's real pretty gun. I don't normally care for nickeled guns, but this one I like. And but I can certainly understand why they bought nickel guns back in the day, even though they weren't pimps. But because you know, if you were like a cowboy or something, spend a lot of time out in the elements, these nickel-plated guns would stand up better to corrosion, and a lot of times these guys, they'd shoot their guns and they wouldn't have the opportunity to clean them properly for a while, and so they stood up better to corrosion, at least on the outside. And this is a really I like this revolver. It would be a nice gun to carry for self-protection. It's nice and light, but it's still a proper gun. If we compare it to the Remington New Model Army percussion revolver, you can see the difference in size. Okay, so that's quite a difference, but if you're not a professional gunfighter or a lawman, and you didn't put yourself in harm's way an awful lot, then you're probably better off with something like this. So it gets really annoying carrying a big heavy gun like this, unless you really need it. So we're going to do another video on that New Model Army some other time, but now let's load this up and shoot it. And of course I have these modern reloadable 38 rimfires that shoots or they use 6mm blank as a primer, and you fill it up with black powder, and there you go. And I've done several videos with rimfire guns, so check out my other videos. So what we're going to do is we'll drop that the loading lever, and pull the cylinder pin out. We'll lift the hammer a little bit and gently take the cylinder out. And now the cylinder has got this end that you can take off, and these Remington have to have that, because you can't really do without that part that rotates the cylinder. So let's put some cartridges in there. And we'll put them in like that so that the hammer will strike that blank. So you have to be kind of careful when you load them, because you can't just shove them in there like you did the original rimfires. And this is not a 6 gun, this is a 5 gun. I smeared some bullet lube on them bullets, and quite liberally, and that helps keep them in place so they won't rotate and cause misfires. So now we got our cylinder loaded up, and we'll have to put their back end of the cylinder back on there, and it's got there's a notch that you might have seen and a hole, and so there's only one position that it will fit. And then we'll put it back in the gun. Like so. And now if you're gonna carry this gun, you'd probably carry it with one empty chamber, because now the hammer is kind of resting on the cartridge. So, let's shoot it. And that was actually a lot of fun. And who knows when this gun been shot last time, because ammo for these has not been available for a long time, and they kind of became old-fashioned pretty quick. So it could very well be a century or more since last time this gun was fired. So. Let's have a closer look at the spent casings now. And it was a real pleasant gun to shoot with. It actually had more recoil than you would think, but well, actually I was kind of expecting that, because I have another video out there with an early Lee rifle that uses the same ammo, and so make sure you watch that video. You can actually see that big heavy rifle jump a little bit when you shoot it. So it's quite a powerful round, really, compared to a lot of these older things. And I think someday I'm gonna bring my chronograph out here and see what kind of velocities we're getting. That rifle that I mentioned, that was one of the early designs of James Paris Lee, and he was the Lee in Lee Enfield. And what I forgot to mention in that video, that Mr. Lee, he was also the inventor of the detachable box magazine, and he was also the inventor of the stripper clip. And so it's kind of cool to own one of his very early rifle designs. So check that rifle out, it's really nice. So I guess that's pretty much it for now, and I think next time I come out here I'm gonna get back to muzzle loading smooth bores like a proper mountain man. All right, we'll see you.